Fun Facts presents the 1953 through 1956 Porsche 550 prototype. We're going to showcase images for the Spyder and the Coupe. These are 50's classic cars, and the introduction started in 1953 and had a production run through 1956, and I believe there are only 900 and some odd cars ever made. So I am excited. I hope you're excited. So let's get started now. The Porsche 550 was a racing sports car produced by Porsche from 1953 until 1956. In that time, only 90 Porsche 550s were produced, but it quickly established dominance in the 1-to-1 and 1.5 liter class. The Porsche 550 is a mid-engine car with an air-cooled 4-cylinder engine following the precedent of the 1948 Porsche 356-1 prototype designed by Ferrari Porsche. The mid-engine racing design was further developed with Porsche's 718 model. Its advantages led it to becoming the dominant design for the top-level racing cars by the mid-1960s. The Porsche 550 was a solid racing history. The first race it entered in Nürburgring Eifel race in May 1953, it won. The 550 Spyder would usually finish top 3 in its class. Each Spyder was designed and customized to be raced. The 1958 Porsche 550A Spyder sold at auction in 2018 by Bohnholz for $5,170,000, the highest price for a 550 at auction. The engine and transmission. The Type 550A is powered by an aluminum 1498cc naturally aspirated air-cooled 4-cylinder boxer engine known as the Furman engine, Type 547. Its valve train uses double overhead camshafts on each cylinder bank, driven by vertical shafts actuating 2 valves per cylinder. The engine is equipped with a twin 2-barrel Solex PJJ downdraft carburetors and dual ignition. In its first version, it produced 110 PS at 6,200 RPM and a maximum torque of 121 Nm, 89 foot-pounds at 5,000 RPM. The engine of the 550 is mounted in the front of the rear axle, making it mid-engine. This gives it more balanced weight distribution and allows for the largely neutral handling. On the other hand, the low mass moment of inertia about the vehicle's vertical axis can lead to a sudden, difficult, or controlled rotation of the car. Ferdinand Porsche had pioneered this design layout with the Auto Union Grand Prix car in the 1930s. The first 550 had fully synchronized 4-speed gearbox. Starting in 1956, a 5-speed gearbox was used, but its first gear only had to start and, like the reverse gear, had to be replaced over a barrier and not synchronized. Excessive slip to the drive wheels in corners was prevented by a limited slip differential. The history. Inspired by Porsche 356, which was created by Ferrari Porsche, as well as the Spyder prototypes built and raced by Walter Glockler starting in 1951, the factory decided to build a car designed for use in auto racing. The Porsche 550 Spyder was introduced at the 1953 Paris Auto Show. The 550 was very low to the ground in order to be efficient for racing. In fact, former German Formula One racer Hans Hermann drove it under closed railroad crossing gates during the 1954 Mille Miglia The car was also featured in the 2000 racing game Need for Speed, Porsche Unleashed. Racing history. The first 3 hand-built prototypes came in a coupe with a removable hardtop. The first 550-03 raced as a roadster at the Nürburgring Eifel race in May 1953, winning its first race. Later that year, the 550 took class wins in the 24 Hours of Le Mans and the Carrera Panamericana. The Carrera Panamericana win was commemorated with a Carrera branding for later Porsches with performance options. From 1953 to 1957, the Porsche Works team evolved and raced the 550 with outstanding success and was recognized wherever it appeared. The silver work cars were painted with spears of different colors on the rear fenders to aid recognition from the pits. Hans Hermann's particular famous red tail car, number 41, went from victory to victory. For such a limited number of 90 prototype and customer builds, the 550 Spyder was always in a winning position, usually finishing in the top 3 results in its class. During its tenure, the Works team, it was challenged only twice among the smaller cars at the 24 Hours of Le Mans, with a 1.5-liter OSCA finishing ahead but disqualified in the 1954 race, and a 1.1-liter Lotus 11 trailing the 1.5-liter winning 550 by 1 lap in 1957 race. The 1956 version, the 550A, with a lighter and more rigid space frame chassis, gave Porsche its first overall win in a major sports car racing event, the 1956 Targa Florio. During this era, Porsche was the first car manufacturer to get race sponsorship, which was through Fletcher Aviation, who Porsche was working with to design a light aircraft engine, and later the Telefunken and Castrol. The 550 was also raced by privateers, who kept the type in the competition after the Works team had moved on to the 718 in 1957. The 550 was both a road and track car, and it was common for privateers to drive it to the racetrack, race it, and then drive home. Each Spyder was assigned a number for the race and had gumballs positioned on doors, front and rear, to be seen from any angle. On some 550s owned by privateers, a crude handwritten number scrawled in house paint usually served the purpose. Cars with huge numbers assigned, such as 351, raced in the 1,000-mile Mille Miglia, where the number represented the start time of 3:51 a.m. On most occasions, numbers on each Spyder would change for each race entered, which today helps identify each 550 by chassis number and driver in a period black and white photos. Its successor from 1957 onwards, the Porsche 718, commonly known as the RSK, was even more successful. The Spyder variations continued through the early 1960s, the RS60, the RS61. The Porsche Boxster S 550 Spyder is a modern mid-engine sports car that pays tribute to the 550. The Spyder name was effectively resurrected with the RS Spyder Le Mans prototype. Well, if you found yourself this far into the video, we'd certainly like to thank you for taking time out of your day to watch our video. And if you like our video, please give us a thumbs up because it really does help our channel. And if you like our channel, we're going to be doing all the cars, the sports cars from the 50s and 60s. We'll be doing hybrid cars, supercars. We'll be doing autoramas. We'll be doing hot rods and custom cars. So there'll be a little bit of everything for everybody. And again, thank you for taking the time out of your day. We hope to see you when we upload our next video. And always, always, always take good care. Thank you.